My name's Ishan and I'm a fourth year medical student studying in London. And in this video, I want to share the 10 things that I've learned over the past year. 1. Success is inevitable with iteration and consistency. Now, this is one of those lessons that everyone knows, but no one applies. And over the past year, I've really realized how important consistency is over everything else. Anything that I've gotten remotely better at, be it climbing, badminton, just studying generally, and content, I've just done loads and loads of times over to the point where I've improved at it. And I think as much as we know that this is the case, we barely apply it and we try and focus on the iteration side of things, which is just as important, but I think it comes to us naturally, whereas the consistency is something we have to work hard at, and that's something I want to continue doing over the next few years as well. 2. Good people in your corner is a blessing. Never take it for granted. If you look back to any memory you have from your past, you will only remember those that you felt emotions, and emotions are felt because you've interacted with people. So people make everything. Now, when it comes to your goals and you want to achieve something, good people are so rare and not easy to come by. But once you have those good people, they will push you towards your goals like no one else. Now, for me, that's my family and friends. But over time, I started to realize more and more how much these people actually fuel me towards my goals and how happy I feel when I'm around these people. And I think it's something that once you have, it's easy to take for granted, but I most definitely will not be doing that. 3. Most suffering is mental. Change the mental frame, change your experience. This one's actually super simple and something I've just developed over time, and you have to put the effort in to actually slowly improve at this. But anytime you're feeling stressed or annoyed, I think the best thing to do is just to zoom out a little bit and think, okay, why is this so bad, and how can I just make myself feel less stressed? And usually it's just about having fewer expectations. So I just expect the worst in terms of if something's going wrong, I just say, okay, what's the worst that could happen? Well, it's probably not that bad. And then once that's the worst possibility, whatever happens is probably going to be better than that. And overall, what it lets me do is have a more holistic view of the problem. And more often than not, it just means that it's going to take slightly more time, or I'm going to have to be a bit more patient. And usually that's fine, like I just have to deal with that, and that's just how life is sometimes. So if that's what it's going to be in reality, then the only thing that changes how I feel is my own brain. So why not interpret all of those signals as positive rather than negative? 4. Listen to smart people, but don't copy. Find your own path. At the start of uni, I discovered podcasts and I was like, this is the thing that I'm going to consume the most of. I'm going to learn so much from it. And honestly, podcasts are super immersive and an amazing experience. However, you cannot always learn by just listening and taking it all for face value. You have to interpret it in your own context. Everything is contextual. So just because Steve Bartlett says that he did it this way and Alex Hormozy says he did it this way, doesn't mean it is the way of achieving success or achieving a good family or whatever it might be. The idea is to use those lessons and the timeless principles and then to apply them to your own life. And sometimes you might say, you know what, this might be a lesson that this person has come up with, but actually I disagree with it and I want to live my life in this way. And if you start to see different role models, everyone has actually lived life differently, and you'll start to see polar opposites in people who are successful. And actually it's just about choosing the path that works best for you. 5. There'll be good days and bad days. It's just part of life. Yeah, I think this one comes under that comparison is the thief of joy kind of thing. If you start comparing yourself to other people's days, your bad days will never feel good because you're always comparing yourself. And even worse than that is when you start trying to bash a bad day somehow into a good day by forcing yourself to feel happy about random things. Sometimes that might work, and gratefulness is a good thing. However, it's impossible to try and convert a bad day into a good day because then you'll only have good days, and then the bar for a good day just goes up. So essentially what you want to do is sometimes just embrace the bad days, but not let that bad day leak into the next day and overall turn it into a bad week. But truly over the past year, I've just recognized the importance of having bad days and embracing them and being okay with them and resting a little bit and just not having that good mood. It's normal. It's fine. It's part of life. 6. Happiness is too abstract of a concept. Peace, purpose, and excitement are components that create happiness. Immerse in each one. Okay, this is something I've given a lot of thought to, and I know that everyone may not agree with me. However, I truly believe that happiness is this massive, broad concept that no one really knows how to define, because it is just really difficult to define as everyone thinks of it differently. But I think the key components of happiness are the same, which is peace, purpose, and excitement, and there might be others as well. But for me, what I found is when I have one of those three things, I typically would say I'm feeling happy. So my aim now is to really immerse in chasing those feelings, like when I'm finding a new medical concept and learning about that, or when I'm designing a new thumbnail. The excitement and purpose that I feel when I'm doing that is unmatched, and I truly feel at my happiest when I'm doing things like that. 7. If you don't ask, you don't get. Perfect asking, even if it feels uncomfortable. This statement could not be more true. I've got a little example for you. I got a locker at uni and it was a small locker and I wanted a bigger one. So I was like, let me look around the locker room to see if there's any bigger lockers. There were a couple. And then I thought, okay, well, I can either just accept that I've got a small locker, which is fine, or I could just go up to the locker people and ask, is it all right if I can get a bigger locker? Worst case, they say no. And if you ask politely, you'll normally either get a yes, or people will say, nah, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. But no one's going to feel weirded out or annoyed because you've asked a question, as long as you do it in the right way. So I asked, and I got the bigger locker. It's such a small example, but I truly believe that if you just have more courage to ask people for things, then they will say yes. And honestly, that way you can make progress so much quicker, because again, it's all down to the people. So if you can find the right people and have the courage to ask them for help, imagine how far you could get. And obviously reciprocate the favor. If you're able to help someone and they ask you for help, of course you're not going to say no or get annoyed at them. You're going to say, yeah, sure, let me help you out. Or you could say, maybe it's not a good time. So similarly, someone else feels the same way about you. 8. The moment you start comparing and competing to make yourself feel better is the moment you have truly lost. To explain this one a little bit, comparison and competition is okay if it's structured, if it's meant to be comparison and competition, and if it's healthy. So for example, if you have a race, or you have a fight coming up, it's a competition. You have to train. Both people are training and both people know that you're competing. That's fine. That's healthy. That's good. You're growing together as a result of that competition. The problem is when we start making competitions up in our head, it's like, oh, my neighbor or my friend, like I need to be better than him at this. Well, no, you don't. It doesn't matter. You need to try and become the best version of you. If it's healthy and you're trying to push each other, that's fine. But when you start making up competitions in your head and they don't actually exist in the real world, that's when you've truly lost. And I think a nice example of this is when Samsung posted some tweets about the Apple iPhone and they were like, oh, the new iPhone 17 isn't that good. It doesn't even flip, all that. And Apple didn't even bother responding, I don't think, because there's no need. They know that they have great phones and I think they are the top phone provider at the minute. There's no need to create any type of competition. Just be the best at being you, and that's all that matters. 9. Motivation is a mixture of desire and momentum. With both, you're unstoppable. I absolutely love this one, and I worked so hard to try and write and create an actual definition of motivation. And what I came down to was desire times momentum. I'll put up the LinkedIn post that I wrote about it so you can read it in more detail if you want to. But to quickly explain it, what you need for motivation is 2 things. You need the desire to actually do that thing. So say I have the desire to own a Ferrari, or I have the desire to pass my exams. But most people stop right there, but that's not enough. You don't just need a desire. I feel like we need a little push. Sometimes when you start working or you start studying, that's when you keep studying. Or when you have the tools to actually start working on something, that's when you work on that thing. So we need that momentum. We need that little push from someone or from ourselves to actually start working and to start having that motivation to do that thing. So I believe the best way to increase your motivation for something is to have that desire and have that burning desire for something. But additionally to that, find help, and find help within yourself or find help from other people so that you can have those building blocks and that momentum to get going, and then you're unstoppable. 10. Books contain incredible wisdom. There's a reason they've been around for so long. The way that people watch YouTube or Netflix while eating, I used to read Harry Potter or just random books while I was a kid. And honestly, I've lost that spark for reading, but I'm starting to build it back up, and I realize the true wisdom that lies in books. Now, I read books here and there, and I also listen to them on Audible, and I'm more on the non-fiction side of things. But honestly, the amount of work that someone's done to make a book is incomparable to any other type of content. And this is something I actually picked up from Ali Abdaal. It's incredible the amount of information you can pick up from one book. Like, it's 80 years of someone's life that they've condensed into these pages. That's their biography. Or there's all of these years of research that someone's done on a scientific topic that they're now sharing with you in a few pages. It's amazing. So that was 10 lessons that I've learned over the past year as a 20-year-old. Hopefully that was of insight to you. If you want to see 10 more lessons that I've picked up, because there are so many that I've lost count of, then please do click this link over here. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.